All right, Chris speaks here today with congressional candidate Barron Rae, who is challenging Mike Rogers in the 3rd District here with me this morning to answer a few questions. Barron, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about you this morning? I mean, it's a little colder than it was yesterday, but I mean,
It has been. It warmed up there for a day or so, and I thought it was going to get better. And dang, if it just ain't got cold again.
just got cold again. And I don't like the cold, but it is what it is. So I'm not a cold.
Yeah, I guess we got to deal with it. So, tell me a little bit about yourself, Barron. How old are you? What about your background, and what got you to this point?
Okay, I'm 28 years old.
Okay.
I'm a Dadeville, Alabama native. That's where I was. I was born in Opelika, but raised my entire life in Dadeville. Graduated high school from there. Did 2 years at Central Alabama Community College on an academic scholarship, but then eventually transferred to Auburn. That's where I got my degree in bachelor's and a minor in psychology.
Okay.
I spent 2.5 years, what every college graduate does, traveling, learning, taking in the world. I moved to Miami to do some modeling for 2.5, 3 years, and turned out that was just not what made my soul happy. I wanted to be remembered for more than just being extras on TVs and commercials and photo shoots. I wanted to make like an impact. I wanted to make a positive impact, and I knew that I could do that back home in my community. So, and being honest, South Beach, Miami was the biggest cultural shock for this small town girl.
I can see
Um,
that.
so I packed my stuff up, moved back home, and I honestly just prayed to the Lord to just to direct my path. And it put me back into education with children. I love kids. It let me find my husband. We got married. We had this beautiful love child. I mean, all is just well and with my soul. And then eventually, my husband, he's the one who put it in my ear. I started a nonprofit in high school called Rae of Hope. I genuinely enjoy helping people. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to always have a job where I just help people. I could just never find the right position and right job and right avenue because it just took life to really put me here. And my husband put this little bird in my ear and told me that he thinks that I could grow it to be a great politician. And I was like, what are you talking about? I mean, yeah, I love to talk. I love to make changes. I love to help people, but that is huge. Like, that is huge. And honestly, after I prayed about it and prayed about it and prayed about it, and we went on top vacation for a 2-week fest, I could either stay at home. I'm a goat farmer. I'm a beekeeper. I'm a mom. I could stay at home and be a farmer and just mind my own business, or I could really put myself out there, test my faith, and really try to change this world because there's a lot of things that I don't agree with. And so here we are. I decided to go big or go home. I wanted Mike Rogers' seat, and that's just where I'm putting myself into this position. So I don't have any degree in political science, but what I do have is a connection and an understanding to people in my district. And I feel that that weighs a whole lot more in today's world than anybody in those suits in Washington. So this is where I'm at. I'm not going to stop until I see the changes that I want to see done. But of course, I would be honored to hold such a prestigious title to be able to serve my people. So this is where I'm at, and this is what I'm hoping to do.
Wow. Okay, so um, you told me that you had a nonprofit. Tell me just a little bit about that. What exactly is that? What exactly are you doing in that one?
So I started in high school. It's called Rae of Hope. My middle name is Rae, and I
Mm-hmm.
basically just wanted to be a sun ray for people. So what we did is I did hoodies for homeless. So we collected a lot of hoodies and we delivered them to Atlanta during the winter months. We did Ronald McDonald House. We fed families for Thanksgiving, and now through me wanting to become a politician, I just picked it back up. So I have a lot of different things starting in the new year that I'm going to also do. I don't want to say them out now. I don't want to jinx them. But I'm just picking that back up. Like I said, it is in my core to genuinely help people. I love to help people. I love to make people smile. I love to help them see the light. I love to motivate them, to push them through all seasons of life. That's what I feel like we're on this world to do. We're on this world to share Jesus' love, but at the same time, just to love our neighbor and to love our people and to be a help if we need a help. So that's just where I started, and it made a full circle moment because now that's my slogan. Let me be your ray of hope for a brighter tomorrow.
I
So I think,
like that.
so I think it's all just part of God's plan. I think he was just molding me into this amazing woman, and he made things not work out for me like they did for people around me because he knew that one day I would be here and I would want to really change the world on a huge scale. And so he was just preparing me. And I feel like this is all just part of it for real.
Have you always been Republican or conservative, or was you a Democrat and kind of grew into that? Because when I was a little kid, I was always kind of a Democrat, and then it was just something that I realized that I no longer really shared the same values as the Democratic Party did, and I became more and more conservative as I got
Yeah,
older.
I think as you grow up as what your parents were or what your parents tell you that you are. And I don't really think that we talked about it. I woke up every morning watching the news. I just remember even from a child, that's what we always did every single morning. But I don't think my family and I just sat and we really talked about it, like what we are, what they are, what they want to be. But I know that as I grew up into a younger woman and I started looking into what entails, I thought, since everyone from my area was more of a Democrat, I originally thought I probably was a Democrat. But when I started writing down all my personal beliefs, I come to find out, no, I'm way conservative. I believe in my babies. I believe in like hard work. I believe in lower tax. I really never knew what I was until I really found out that I was a conservative woman because I was young and dumb. And, I feel like as a college kid, you're not really in tune with what's going on around you. And that's kind of
Right.
why I'm doing this also at a young age, because I want more younger generation to not be so out of the loop. I want them to be informed and I want them to know what they are and what they want to see in our world. And I feel like it starts with seeing more younger generation get more into politics. So
You're exactly right. That's such a great, huge untapped voting block is 18 to 34-year-olds. If you make it to Congress, what would be some of the top legislation that you would like to see passed?
well, for my one thing that I do not want to see is my little girl going to school with a trans or having to compete in sports with a trans. I feel like that's one thing. I played 5 sports. I got scholarship offers in 3 of them. And of course I chose academic because I was burnt out on it, but I would be so angry because I was good at sports. I will tap my own hat. My parents, we invested the time and the money to be good at what we did. So it would really hurt my heart to see that my child would have to compete with someone biologically who's not supposed to be there. That's one thing that I would love to see. And also, my biggest thing is Alabama. That's why I want to be in Congress. I want to really lower our taxes, but I feel like that starts with really waking up people in our district. I want us to become more self-sufficient, and become more self-sufficient means getting back to work. That means working hard for what you really want instead of having our hand out for the government to fulfill what they think we need. I want to be a voice of reasoning. I want to be a voice of awareness. I feel like that is what we lack in. It's not so much we need this, we need this, we need this. No, we need more love and we need more knowledge. We need more education. We need more awareness. We lack that in health. We lack that in education. We lack that in economic growth. We lack that in everything. So I just really want to be a server and a strong voice on the House floor for my district. Instead of saying yes to these expensive FBI buildings or voting yes for ludicrous things, I want to say, hey, Alabama needs this. We need this. I need this. So we could see our state thrive, our communities thrive, because Alabama is very lowly ranked on economic growth, 44th. We're low on education rank, 44. And, Mike Rogers being in office for 24 years, for such a long time, and not seeing this increase, that's where I want voters to know that, hey, there's another option this year. Maybe let's take a chance, or let me be a ray of hope for a brighter tomorrow, because we are tired of not seeing our state thrive. That's what I want to do. I want to be more of that. I want to use my voice for good.
I'll go back and touch on something you said a while ago about the trans. That's such a I don't know who authorized this or signed off on letting a biological. I'm not even gonna call it that. Letting a man compete with a woman. It's such a. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Uh,
It's disheartening because
what it does is it takes away from everything female athletes have strived for. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but I mean, like if I had a daughter that, and some man was going to go wrestle her, I mean, you'd hear about it because it'd be all in the news because I would come out of those stands and there's no way I would allow something like that to take place. I mean, this is just a disgrace to what they've done to females all across there, and it just infuriates me. I mean, why do you think the Democratic Party has left and got so far out of touch with mainstream America like this? Because they're letting 0.5% of the population dictate to what bathroom we can use, what what we have to names like cis man and trans, gender fluid, non-binary. I don't even know what that means.
And you know what? Why it also disheartening. It makes me so upset. Is because I'm biracial, and every single time that I had to take a test, I had to choose either African American or Caucasian because you can only choose one. You can only choose one. And so it aggravates me that I'm still having to choose one when I'm multi-race, but we have somehow let it able that for people who do not want to be who God created them to be, and they get a say. They all of a sudden get a circle. And I have been fighting for a circle my entire life, and now they get a circle. That's just abomination to me. And I think it's because we are trying to satisfy everybody in our country, but that's not what this country was built on. Our country was built on fighting for liberty, fighting for our freedom, and fighting for our nation. We take the word free like, oh, let everybody be free. No, that's not how this works. So, if you want a good system, you want a good America, that's the reason these laws are in place. That's the reason, even though I can't stand taxes, that's why we always have taxes. It's just part of our American duty. And instead of really realizing what our people fought for in all these years ago, we're just too busy like, oh, let me just satisfy you. Let me just satisfy you. Let me just satisfy. No, this is not how it is. This is not how.
What infuriates me with them is they compare their movement to the civil rights movement. And I'm like, there is no comparing this right here to the civil rights movement and what black folks had to deal with, the slavery and segregation, Jim Crow. I mean, you cannot compare them.
You were born Caucasian. I was born biracial. You chose to change who you were biologically made. That's a choice. I didn't get to choose that I want to be all of a sudden, oh, now I want to be a male today. No, I was born who I am. You're born who you are. Now, if you want to change that is a choice. That's a choice that you make. So don't compare that to any type of civil rights movement or any type of feeling like everyone needs to be. No, that's not even in the same boat or same comparison. That's where we have to kind of get over ourselves a little bit.
And these same liberals, I love throwing it right back at them. Then I'm like, hey, wait a second. When you wanted me to take this vaccine, you were saying trust the science. Well, science tells me that if you're born with a penis, you are a male. So why are we not trusting the science here? What happened to my body, my choice. It's just common sense.
It's common sense. We take common sense out.
So tell me, with the stuff that's going on, what do you think is the biggest threat to America right now? The border. What's going on? The border?
Yeah, the border. But the border's always been a problem. So if we don't think that really the border's always been a problem, we've just been sweeping it under the rug, that's also where we have to wake up at. And that's why I feel like we need to have a strong voice of awareness, because instead of worrying about who's non-binary, who's this, everybody does this, we need to protect our borders. We're letting people come in for free. We're letting people not having to pay taxes. We're allowing them to bring drugs in here. We have fentanyl crisis like at the very top right now, especially in a lot of communities where I'm hopefully going to be Congresswoman one day. They have a huge problem from that, and it all stems for just allowing all of these people come into our country. And we have the means to stop this. We have the means and we have the availability. We're just not really wanting to really pull that trigger yet. And I don't understand why. We need more like-minded people on that Congress floor. We don't have enough of them right now. We're still kind of split here and there, even though you can say all the Republicans run the office and all the Democrats run the office, but realistically, we don't have enough strong, like-minded people that all agree on the same thing. And that's where we're lacking at. It's aggravating. And that's the reason why I'm doing this. It's so aggravating.
On foreign policy, do you think we just gave Ukraine $600 million. Why are we wasting money in Ukraine?
I have no idea. I would not. I'm going to 100% be honest with you. I do not know why we're doing that. We're just sending so much money out of there when honestly, like I said, we could be utilizing that in District 3. We could be utilizing in our country. We could be utilizing that on our border. There's so much going on our own turf that we're just so brainwashed. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I know we have to have certain allies, but let's not pretend that America is not super strong. Let's not pretend that we do not have a fighting spirit of fighting for our liberty and fighting for our freedom. Let's not pretend that. I think that a lot of times we overlook, and we do this because, we want to get something in return, or we want to protect our people, or we want to protect our allies. America is very strong. We are very capable. we are very aware, and we're very smart. So if you do not think that we are capable of protecting ourselves around other countries, I mean, that's just another part of, you have to be informed. You have to really start reading. You have to look up these types of things, because we send so much money out of our country, and that is just, but there's some people getting into office that want to stop that. I feel like our new Speaker of our House is kind of speaking up on it. And I think there's a lot of things that we're trying to figure out, like, why are we doing this? And it also starts with our president. We got to get Biden out. Biden has got to go, got to go, got to go, got to go. It is time for him to go sit at home in his rocking chair and enjoy the rest of his life, because it starts with there.
I mean, I was definitely not a Biden fan, but in all fairness to him, the man is just too old at 80-something years old to be trying to run the office. And, you know, and they're trying to run impeachment. I'm like, look, you get rid of Biden, you got Kamala. You know, so,
and honestly, we can't impeach him because you voted him in. So at this point, let him, like, I just feel like, you know, we're this close out. He's already done his dirty. Let him finish his work. I'm not all for that. Don't get me wrong. Of course, I want a new president, but we get to vote that really soon. So, like, at this point, it's just getting informed and finding somebody else to take his position, and what you're going to do when you get in that position, and what you're wanting to do, what you want to see change. I feel like a lot of people want to get in those positions for personal power or personal control instead of really helping our people. That's where America has kind of left off of. You know, it's loving our neighbor and helping each other out. That's what this country is found on. We don't do a lot of that anymore. You know, it's all about self. And that's just how that's going to be destruction. Like, it's going to eventually go to destruction. And we don't want America to fully be destructed. Then we need to all wake up.
Speaking of, and I'm not asking for you support anything, how do you feel about our Republican race right now? I mean, because we're in a mess. I don't know how this is going to play out. If we have it's possible we could have a nominee that's indicted. This is going to be a constitutional crisis that we could have on our hands here.
I'm not going to speak deep into that yet, because I do my research every day on every person that's going to hopefully in the Republican Party that wants to become president. And I'm just going to be honest, my soul is not 100% sold on anybody. Like, so I can't, and, you know, when, like you said, we have this problem going with Trump right now. Too many people are trying to get Trump out, but realistically, and don't get me wrong, Trump as a man, he's not always been my favorite guy, but when it comes to politics, he got the most done, in my opinion. And so at this point, it's like, are y'all just doing it because you don't like Trump, or are you doing it because you just don't want our country to flourish? So it's a mess. It's a mess.
To me, they've weaponized the judicial process against him, in my opinion. I mean, they were going after this man, stuff that every president's done. Because, you know, we've had, I think, 100 attacks now launched against our ships in Iran. There's no way that there would be a missile launched against a ship in Iran if Donald Trump was president of the United States.
Exactly. We're now being, that's what I'm saying. America is now seeming weak, and America was not built on weakness. We were built on a fighting spirit. We were built on literally fighting for our freedom. You know, that came with more, morale, more confidence.
Throughout our history, every movement, I mean, we've always been fighters in the United States. On domestic issues, you know, it seems that you know, I look around and the one time we had, and like when my grandfather was coming up, you know, one paycheck took care of four. Now we have four paychecks that's barely taking care of three. I mean, what do we have to do to try to get some type of jobs back into this country that are going to get the economic standard of living back up? Because during the Obama administration and then the Bush, we lost 29% of our wealth in this country. We've had 60,000 factories close. You know, we've got people that are now working, you know, had $30 an hour jobs is now making minimum wage. I mean, have you thought about that? Or
I've thought about that in Alabama stance. So, because Alabama is one of the most beautiful agriculture states that we have in America. Sure. And so I guess that's one of the things that I want to do, be this voice of reasoning, be this voice of awareness. We need to stop getting all of our food from who knows where, God knows what, and start using our local resources, bring our companies back here, invest. Don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying the car plants. I'm enjoying all the car lots. I know that brings a lot of money and revenue to our area. But like I said, agriculture, Alabama, the beautiful, that's one of the best places you could be at. Why are we not utilizing our land to locally grown and resources, all the stuff that we need? There's no reason for it. That could lower groceries right there. If we just locally source all of our stuff and all of our food. Please tell me, I don't know exactly where you live, but I can't go more than 5 miles without passing a pasture, passing a farm, passing somebody who's worked very hard for everything they have. And don't get me wrong, I know it can probably feed all of Alabama, but that's why there's so many of them. There's so many farmers out here. I'm a goat farmer and a beekeeper. I do this to bring my food to my plate, to my home. So there's no reason that we cannot locally source better, that we cannot use our land better. That way we do not have to outsource it. We could in-source it, and we could send it out. We could ship it out. That would bring so much revenue back to Alabama just in general, just right there. Local grocery stores, we could do that. That sounds like a good business to me. You only use all the food and all the stuff that's around your country, around your county. Take out the whole middleman. Like, we have to get back to working hard and utilizing our resources that we have. We're equipped with everything we need. The Lord tells us that. I feel like we all are equipped with everything we need, but we just have to start utilizing those resources. But that takes work. And we're getting off to where a lot of people don't want to work. It's a lot easier to stay at home and get paid for it. It's a lot easier just to have your hand out. Even though they complain that they're doing bad all by themselves, they're really not. They're having the government assistance every step of the way. That's where I want people to wake up at. Let's become more self-sufficient. Let's invest into our land. Let's use this beautiful land that we have to locally source and grow the things that we need. That could take out our lower grocery bills. That would create more jobs. It's just a full circle moment. And I know it takes a while to get there. All good things take time, but I feel like it has to start somewhere. And once you start, the snowball will start growing and growing and growing. And eventually it'll start going down the hill and you'll see it flourish. But it also starts with our small communities. We have to start there. We're all thinking here, big in Washington, but it starts in our core. Our small communities, our small cities, our city councils. Let's figure out what they need, how we could thrive. Do they have industrial parks? What can we bring here that can make everything grow? That's where we need to start asking our questions. That's where we need to start digging. That's where we need to start having our meetings. We need to go meet with these people. We need to go talk with these people. We need to hear what they need to see, what they want to see. And I think eventually, if we use, like I said, it's we the people. It's not me. It's not Mike Rogers. It's not just one of us. It's we the people. I think it takes all of us to do this together in order to see growth. And I know it's going to take time, but all good things take time. And I'm willing to put in the work to eventually see it,
That was a great answer there. And I live in a rural area too, so yeah, I grow a lot of farmers. The third district, is it primarily a rural agriculture area?
Primary. It's kind of it's like they're trying to. It's kind of there, but it's enough. There's enough. I have driven and I have driven and I have driven because I can't compete with Mike Rogers financially, but I have a big 5 foot by 8 foot sign in the back of my pickup truck. And I've got 2 legs and I ride almost every day. And I have to tell you, I come home every day saying, I did not realize how beautiful Alabama was. We have so much land and so much openness and so much, there's farmers everywhere. There's so much of us. There really are. Like there's a lot of us. There's so much area. There's so much opportunity. There is, but I don't think nobody knows. I don't think nobody's talking about it. I don't think anybody's bringing attention to it. So,
yeah, what you said a while ago, nobody's ever has utilized or really, I guess that's what I'm looking for. We're like the first or second in fishing and game and wildlife in the United States, and we don't use that to market that for tourism because there's a lot of hunter and fishermen that would love to come to see these beautiful lakes and these forests and campgrounds that we have there, but we don't do it, and it's such a lack of leadership. Congressman Rogers, he's been there for 22 years. This is one question. It may be a tough one. A while back, I've not got the answer from it yet. Because a constituent asked him, what did him and his wife's a judge. They were both taking money from the political action committee, and asked if he thought it was a conflict of interest. And the congressman said, "You keep my name's wife out of it, or we'll take this outside." And then a couple of years ago, he grabbed Mike Gates by the face and turned him around. Is that the type of man that we need in there that has the temperament to be a congressman? Because that's unbecoming of to me of somebody that's going to get physically violent um, over something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And when you step into these prestigious roles, you have to be aware, and I know that he knows this because he's been in office for a very long time, that they're going to attack you, they're going to attack your family, they're going to attack everything. But that's why you have to be slow to speak, slow to get angry, and slow to reply, because people are always watching you, and you are in a prestigious spot where you get to not only, it brings tears to my eyes because you get to really use your voice to serve our people. And when you act like that, it just shows you that, that one, you just want to have control issues and anger issues, but two, that you're not even really caring about your people and your constituents because you're letting your anger get to the best of you, or you're letting your actions get to the best of you, or you're letting your personal power get to the best of you. I will not talk bad about Mike Rogers. He's worked very hard to get in the place that he is today. That took hard work. So I definitely tap my hat off to him. I just think Mike Rogers has gotten very complacent. I think that now it's more about his personal growth and his personal control more than serving our people. And as Alabama, we deserve to see our voices heard. We deserve to thrive. And I think it's going to take somebody coming from XYZ or straight from a goat farm and beekeeping farm that brings new energy into this position. We need a little bit of light. I see there's so many people that don't even know about these state funded programs, or the possibility that you can do this or that, or how you can start a business and they'll help you, or how you can have this much acre and they'll come and fence it in for you if you ever want to be a farmer. Like, nobody is talking about these things. I go to his website all the time looking for awareness, looking for, ideas, looking for what he uses his voice for. And I feel like it's more about just personal pocket and personal gain. We don't need somebody in there who's going to be all about themselves. It is we, the people. Like, I don't, like the other guy who's competing about me, he was like, "Do you know you have to have 3 offices? Do you know?" And I was like, "No, I did not know." I was like, "I didn't know you get all of this. I don't care for all of this. I don't care. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the power. I don't care about being in there for 10 years because I genuinely love my little small town, my little one red light small town. I genuinely enjoy it." I just think that we deserve to thrive. And if somebody doesn't step up and really use their voice for good, we will never thrive. We will never have that. And acting like that, where people are always watching you, that just shows you have lack of control. And if you have lack of control, how can I trust you to be the voice for me? How can I trust you to speak up for me when it's needed? And so I feel like he should go for president, for Speaker of the House. Why did he go for Speaker of the House? Those are also prestigious roles. And, he just sat very quiet because I think that he's very complacent where he is. I think that he knows that he's just going to get another year, and another year. And I think it's time. I think it's time for a ray of hope, for a brighter tomorrow. I think it's time for a new, fresh start. I think it's some time for new ideas. That's why we need term limits. It's
So
not.
you say we should have term limits. I mean,
Definitely have term limits. Doesn't matter what. I knew when they built this country, when they were writing the Constitution, they were writing all these things down. They did not think, they did not know that people were going to want to stay in there for an eternity. If they would have known that, I promise you, it would have been a term limit back then. They
George
weren't.
Washington almost served 1 term. They had almost begged him to serve a 2nd term.
You get what I'm saying? Like, so it's part of hitting your goals. Like, what do you want to do when you get in there? I want to see Alabama thrive. I want to see use our agriculture more. I want to see our taxes lower. I want to see more people working and not sitting at home collecting government checks. Like, that's what I want to see. Once I hit those goals, I'm out. Get me back to my farm. Get me back to my children. Now let's live a good life. I don't want it for the personal power and for the personal gain. I'm here to be a light for Jesus, serve my people, and literally just walk and do as humbly and as faithfully as I can. I just want to help people. Like, literally, I just want to help. Just the thought of like being a congresswoman and going to these schools and reading to these girls. It gets me so excited. Or just being able to know that I had a part of having more people come vote. We had the lowest voter turnout. If I can get more people to vote this time, even if I don't win, that's a goal for me. Like, yes, I did that. I had a part in that, you know? So I guess that's where we lack. And that's why I know we need term limits, because we need younger people. The world is always changing, whether you like it or you're not. The world's always changing. It's always trying to get on the new fabs. It's trying to make things less powerful. They're trying to bring new technology out. That's just part of it. We can't stop time. We can't stop it. We cannot stop that. So you either have to get on board and how to figure out how to work with what you have, or you just get left behind, you know? And I feel like a lot of older people and a lot of people in those positions, they're not ready to tack on the new things that are coming with the
I mean,
time.
you're right. They just it's nothing against them. I mean, as I'm getting older, you know, me, I can barely turn on a cell phone. You know, that's just how it is, and it's not their fault.
Yeah,
But you know, for a time there, you know, we had some presidents. We had Clinton, Obama, Bush, men that were in their 40s and 50s, and now we've gotten back to the thing where we got, you know, 70 and 80-year-old men, and that's just too old to be president of the United States. I mean,
that's
it's just.
that's just where, and we don't, come on, there's enough people out here. We have enough people in this world. Somebody, but nobody wants to get in politics because they're scary and they're ugly and they're mean and they're, you know, they're, no offense, it's too hard to understand sometimes. I get it. That's why I didn't get into it when I was a college kid, or, you know, I went to go vote, but it was almost like a joke and it was funny. Like, I didn't even understand what I was doing it for. That's why I want to change that. You know, I want to simplify it. I want to stop sending it out of the country. I want to bring it back to us. I want to get back to us loving our neighbors, working hard America, exactly what our founders worked their butt off and fight their everlasting last breath for, you know, like we take it very lightly. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't stand my country. Please take 2 minutes to go to a whole nother country. I promise you, you'll be running back so fast, you won't even know what your name is. You know, America is beautiful.
You know, the
America,
girl over there in Russia that got arrested, and uh, you know, for the hash that hated America so bad, and you know, and we sold out and gave a terrorist in exchange for her. You know, this, I forgot how many men this guy had killed, and I was like, who negotiated this deal?
that
I
there
mean,
you
you know, we've
exactly.
got so many people locked abroad, and you know, and that was just a political stunt. You know, you hate America, and then you know, that infuriated me that the Biden administration,
Yeah.
the deal they made for her. Yeah, I don't even want to get into it. I
Yeah.
just got a couple more questions for you, and then I'll let you go because I know you got busy.
Yeah.
When I cut the tape, though, I want to talk to you for 1 second. Um, so you've been out amongst the people. What differentiates you from the other candidates, and what's the last thing that you want the voters to remember before win the interview?
Well, first of all, I'm 6'2". When I walk into a room, I'm definitely look a little bit different than anybody else around me, especially if I have on heels. I'm like 6'8", but I have this high energy. I have the genuine, I'm genuinely want to see us thrive. So that's what sets me aside. I'm not telling you embarking orders about what I need or what I want, what should change. I want to work with my people. I want to see us thrive. And I think that's what sets me aside. I'm a humble servant. I reflect the light of Jesus. I'm a hard worker and I'm a warrior. Please don't play me. I know that I seem so sweet, Sally, but I can turn it really fast for my country if I need to. Like, so that's the reason a lot of people don't understand that I am a warrior. I am a fighter. And with or without this title, I'm going to see Alabama thrive. It would just be a whole lot easier if the Lord blessed me with this title for it, you know? So that's what sets me aside. I'm genuinely want to see my state thrive. It's not personal care because, like I said, I can stay at home, have all the babies I want, and live on the farm, and I'd be content. But it is my duty and it's my job to be like-minded, help as many people as I can, and be a light for Jesus. So that is why I'm doing this. That's what sets me aside. I genuinely care. We don't have a lot of people who genuinely care for our people anymore. And that's what's going to set me a little bit different aside, besides being 6'7" in heels and walking around. And then another thing that I want my voters to know that, hey, there is somebody else actually going against Mike Rogers for once. Please check me out. I cannot compete with him financially, but please know that I really want to bring a ray of hope for a brighter tomorrow. I want to see my state thrive. We have not thrived in many years. That's why I started a nonprofit in high school. That's why I competed in these pageants called I was Miss Alabama Teen in 2011. It wasn't just to be this beautiful beauty queen. It was because I got to go to Montgomery. I got to go to the Capitol. I got to put my hands into these opportunities that could really change people's lives. And that's just that's beautiful to me. You know, we live in a place where we're able to help out others and we're able to be a voice of reasoning and awareness, you know, and I know that we lack that on that House floor. And I would love to have a moment to have the opportunity to be that strong voice that I think we really deserve.
All right, Bonnie, thank you for coming on today. I enjoyed the conversation.